Some are saying it's the end of an era. And if that truly is the case, then I have to say thank you to Kanye West and Adidas for bringing a shoe to the table that a lot of us resellers and a lot of us collectors have grown very fond of over the years, whether that be from a comfortability standpoint, a style standpoint, or putting some extra bread in our pockets. I remember trying to cop Yeezys back whenever he was with Nike, and it was next to impossible to get your hands on a pair. Whether you were a huge Kanye fan or just a shoe fan in general, Yeezys have always been highly sought after. When I was able to first start copping Adidas Yeezys, I felt like I was on top of the world. Going from something that was so hard to buy in the past to something that was actually somewhat accessible, it just felt unbelievable. And the amount of money that these shoes generated for not only Kanye, not only Adidas, but for resellers. I mean, I have one cash out video on my channel that grossed me over 20K, and it was nothing but Yeezys. I know for me personally, I'm always going to have some of these Adidas Yeezys in rotation. It's one of my favorite shoes of all time, but I want to know what the future of this is. So let's break down what we know. So we know for a fact that Adidas and Kanye have parted ways. That's no secret. There were lawsuits, there was tons of tension. Of course, Kanye went off the walls on social media. But then it became a question of what's the future of Yeezys? Does Adidas truly own the Yeezy style, the colorways, the branding, all of that? I myself was curious as to whenever they split, are we just going to start getting Yeezys without Yeezy written on them? Are they going to be the exact same shoe, the exact same colorways, and Adidas could potentially just flood the market with them? And then in turn, what's that going to do to the resale value of Yeezys that are already out there? We see what happens whenever Nike reiterates or Jordan Brand reiterates certain colorways. It kind of dips down the past iteration of that shoe. If the only difference of the shoe was not having Yeezy written on them, I feel like that would diminish the value of the past releases. So then it became a decision for Adidas. What were they going to do with the remaining product? After all, they had over $300 million worth of shoes still on hand. After they split ties with Kanye, they talked about maybe destroying the inventory, writing it off. And then finally, towards the end of 2023, they confirmed that they were going to release these pairs throughout 2024. I don't think anyone really knew what we were going to get. There were some colorways that we thought that we were going to get in 2023 that never happened. But at the end of the day, it was kind of a mystery. Now, over the past month or so, we've seen all kinds of different Yeezys loaded on the Confirmed app. I've been getting notifications like every single day of multiple styles being loaded on the Confirmed app. And the first pair that I saw, it was an all gray pair of 350s. Of course, I went crazy. I copped several pairs of those, not knowing exactly what was going on. They advertised it as a draw, but then after the draw concluded, I realized I hit every single pair that I entered for, which didn't happen in the past with Yeezys. That kind of raised some concerns. And then it was even more concerning when the draw was over. That same style was posted on Confirmed as just an available colorway. So anybody could go on and cop it. They didn't have to register for a draw, nothing. They were just accessible to the public. And it didn't take long for Kanye to speak on this. He opened up in an Instagram post that was a book. And of course, it wasn't just about the shoes. It went over the top, talking about, celebrities in Hollywood and things that go on behind the scenes, whatever. But the whole theme of the post was that these Yeezys were fake and that they were never approved and they were never supposed to release, and 350s are whack and they've been corny, which is kind of crazy hearing it from him, because all of these styles of Adidas, I know for a fact whenever they first dropped, people weren't feeling them. I remember going to sneaker conventions when the 350s and the 750s had first released, and those things were selling for like pennies. Well, not actually pennies, but when the 750s dropped, those things were hard to resell for like $500. And we saw what the OG colorways did. They were all four-figure shoes after that. So a lot of people really grew to like these styles, and for Kanye to say that they're corny himself, that's kind of whack to me. Now, after this initial drop from Confirmed, we kept seeing Yeezys release every single day. And yes, they're the same styles, and yes, they do say Yeezy on them. Some of these we've never seen before, some of them we had. I know after the first couple releases, I started to slow down on copying stuff because I didn't know how much there was. How many pairs per style are they? Are we going to see this all year long? Is this going to be a forever thing? It kind of made me hesitate to invest in a product like this from a reseller standpoint. But also in the back of my mind, I was thinking, I might never get another pair of 350s again. I might never get another pair of those comfortable Yeezy slides again for only $75. I know $75 for a pair of slides seems like a lot, but at the time it was one of the cheapest Yeezy products we've ever been introduced to. So I bought a few personals, I bought a few to hold, to resell, to see what the market's going to do in the future, see what Adidas is going to do, see what Kanye is going to do, and then just like that, they're gone. Which makes absolutely zero sense, because there were full size runs of several of these styles just sitting on the Confirmed app and then out of nowhere they just all disappeared from the confirmed app. That makes me think it's not truly over yet. There's probably still going to be a big drop. I mean, I could be wrong. There's still some styles that we thought that were rumored that never dropped, and a part of me thinks that those have been made in factories because there's fakes of them everywhere. Like what about the blue pair? What about the MX blues? I find it hard to believe that there's not pairs of those out there. And for the 500s to hit confirm, some of these slides, the gray 350s, and have full size runs just sitting and then disappear out of nowhere, that tells me one of two things. Either they did these made to order and they were just taking as many orders as they could and making as much money as they could on these last few styles while they're still making them in the factory, or they've got hella pairs and they just haven't dropped them all yet. So even still, we have the question, what's going to happen with Yeezys in the future? Are we going to see more? I know for me personally, I'm probably going to keep buying some, because if this is truly the end of an era, I want to have some of these on hand. From a sneakerhead standpoint and from a resale standpoint, I think everyone can admit that the 350s and these slides and some other of the silhouettes are probably some of the most comfortable pairs of shoes that you've ever put on your foot. Now, aside from the celebrity connection to the brand, that holds value. So if Adidas does fully cut ties and stop producing these shoes altogether once and for all, I see these shoes going up in value, maybe even considerably over the next few years. Especially if Kanye doesn't produce something on his own that's going to satisfy the need of sneakerheads to get something new, stylish. It also makes me wonder why these celebrities with so much funding, who really don't need the money up front, work with these big companies. I talked about this in the past with Kyrie and Saya. Why aren't more celebrities working with these smaller brands who are willing to give the celebrity, give the athlete, give the face of the brand pretty much everything, or an even stake at least? Why go through the trouble? Why make pennies on the dollar, and why come back and claim that a sneaker is corny when you can have full say in the design process, make more money, and feel better about the products you're releasing? I just really hope that we see a transition in this space, because it's going to be better for sneakerheads, collectors in general. We're going to get a better product. Things are going to be way more sought after, and the creators are going to take a whole lot more pride in the shoes that we're getting if that were ever to happen. Now, we know Kanye did take matters into his own hands. If you all saw his Super Bowl commercial, it cost him nothing to make the Super Bowl commercial. It was literally just a selfie in the car. There's rumors that ad space on the Super Bowl primetime cost like $7 million. Even if that is the case, it was a great play, because he posted the text screenshots saying that he grossed over $19 million just from posting the pods and all the other $20 items on his website. Now, I don't know if these pods can single-handedly be the future of Yeezy's brand, but it's definitely a start. And I don't care what you're selling. Any $20 item that can gross you $19 million in a short period of time like that, very impressive. It just goes to show how much of a status Kanye has. He has a huge influence on not only sneakers, but fashion in general. I want to know what you guys are thinking, or what you guys did. Did you guys cop a bunch of these Yeezys from Confirmed? Were you guys sleeping on them, listening to Ye, participating in the boycott of these releases? Or what do you think is going to happen in the future with Yeezys, with Adidas? I'm dying to know what's next. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, or feel free to hit me up on IG. The handle is the same, @AllABSneakers. Stay tuned for all of your sneaker related content, and do not forget, this is all about sneakers.